Hey True Believers, this is Junior T, and welcome to another video with Dr. T.
Today, we're going to take a look at part 2 of my CGC 9.8 collection.
Stay tuned. Don't forget to press the like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you're really enjoying today's content, press that notification bell.
In part 1, I showed you 34 CGC 9.8s and 1 CBCS 9.8 for a total of 35 books. And in this video, part 2, I'm going to show you the remaining 39 books in my CGC 9.8 collection. So let's get into it. The first book, we have Spawn number 1 from Image Comics. Then we have Amazing Spider-Man number 55, the second print cover. Ultimate Spider-Man number 2, this is from 2000. I actually have the Ultimate Spider-Man number 1, the Dynamic Forces edition, getting pressed right now with E-Rod, and it should be a 9.8, so when that comes back, that will complement this, so I'll have issues 1 and 2 in a 9.8. Big fan of the Ultimate Spider-Man series. Here is Amazing Spider-Man number 1 from 2014, signed by Stan Lee and Neil Adams on the issue release date, and I absolutely love this really exciting pop-out almost cover right there with Spider-Man jumping. Just love the look of the flexibility on his legs and arms and head with his neck sticking out like that. Just really glad to have this signature series book in the collection. Here's some Avengers variants. Avengers number 1 from 2013, the Ribic variant cover. Just love the action on that cover with Cap throwing his shield and Thor flinging his hammer about. And this book, that book I just showed you, I had sent in raw originally. Same thing with this one. This is a raw book that I had sent in years ago. So here's also Avengers 1 from 2013, the sketch variant cover. And it's nice to have that original Avengers team from the 2012 Avengers movie. These books are some favorites of mine in the collection. Here's Alpha Flight number 1 in a 9.8. I think I bought this book several years ago for $73.50. And this book, I believe the FMV right now is over $400 for this book. So I'm glad I got it when I did. Again, Alpha Flight number 1 from 1983. And this is the first appearance of Puck and Marina. And then the origin of the Alpha Flight team. Of course, their first full appearance in X-Men 121, and then their cameo appearance, even though they're on the cover, in X-Men 120. Here's Alpha Flight number 2, which has the origin of Marina. And I love this next book, Alpha Flight number 5, a great Puck cover. Again, bought this several years ago, I believe, for $50. This book isn't too expensive still, but I love that action-oriented cover. And if Puck ever did come to the NCU, this book would go up significantly. Great book if you're an Alpha Flight fan. This is my dad's favorite comic ever from 1982. He has a raw copy of this that I currently have in my possession. This is Marvel 2-in-1 Annual number 7, the last issue in this 2-in-1s with the Thing. And this is the first appearance of Trichoslaterus, the champion. And every one of these characters on the cover battles the champion. The Hulk gets disqualified for ripping off his boxing gloves, but the Thing lasts longer than anybody else. And the champion was super impressed with the Thing's courage and fighting ability in the ring with him, and his ability to really get beat to a pulp. So this is just an absolutely fun, great Thing book. And here is Thing number 1 from 1983, his first issue in his first ongoing title, solo title. And here is Ultimate Fantastic Four number 1. Yeah, from 2004. And this is the series where Ultimate Fantastic Four is where the Marvel zombies first get introduced. I do have a raw copy of that one. And next, this is one of my favorite covers of all time. Marvel Superhero Secret Wars from 1984 with Hulk carrying the weight of this huge mountain. I believe the cover says, Hulk, let's see, beneath 150 billion tons stands the Hulk, and he's not happy. Look at that. All the heroes under there, and who's holding it up? The Incredible Hulk. Great cover, Secret Wars cover. And then here's Marvel Superhero Secret Wars number 5. Once upon a time, I thought I would have issues 1 through 12 all in a 9.8, maybe with the exception of number 8 with the first symbiote, black symbiote costume appearance. But since Secret Wars 1 has gone up so much in value and people are beginning to spec on these books, that might not be a dream that I can realize, but hey, you never know. But I always wanted to have every one of these in a 9.8, and those are the only 2 that I have. Because my dad bought those. My dad has a set of all 12 with the exception of issue 2 that he bought off the rack in 1984 into 85, and then we also have another set that was a gift for him years later that had every issue except number 8, which of course he bought off the rack in 1984. And then here are some Thor books. The Mighty Thor 294, The Origin of Odin. I picked this book up years ago just because it was so cheap. Hard to pass up, and I love that cover and love how it features Odin. And here's a big book, Thor 337, first appearance of Beta Ray Bill. Big fan of this character, big fan of this book. Glad to have gotten it when it was for $180 several years ago. And of course now this goes well over $1,000 in a 9.8. Glad to have this one. And then the second appearance of Beta Ray Bill in Thor 338. Love that swipe cover with the Mighty Thor 126 when Thor first has his own title following Journey into Mystery. And then here is Thor 350, another great Beta Ray Bill and Thor collaboration there. Here's a book that I bought before Avengers Endgame came out. This is Thor 390, When Captain America Lifts Mjolnir. I bought this book for a fairly decent price. Of course, after Endgame came out, the book shot up quite a bit, and now it's at a more reasonable purchase level, even for a 9.8. But these books really don't come up that often. And here's an awesome variant cover from the Avengers versus X-Men storyline in 2012. I absolutely love this cover. I bought this raw at San Diego Comic-Con in 2012 for $50, which now looking back was probably pretty steep, but I love this cover so much. And these were the hot variants at the time just because the series was going on and people were picking it up because it was the big Marvel event, but love that Thor is attempting to battle the Phoenix out in space. Here we have some X-Men books. Here's X-Men 213. Great Wolverine and Sabretooth cover. I would love to have issue 212. I have a reader raw copy of 212, the great Wolverine torn to pieces in a battle with Sabretooth, and then we have this continuation in this issue. This book does not, in 9.8, this book is pretty pricey at this point. Here is X-Men 268. My opinion, a classic Jim Lee cover with Black Widow, Captain America, and of course that awesome Wolverine art. Look at that. That is such great artwork for those characters. I have a funny story about this book. So this is X-Men #1, the collector's edition, right, from 1991 when they printed just thousands upon thousands upon thousands of copies. But if you look at this case, there's a tear right there, and the case is cracked. Well, let me tell you how this happened. So all these CGC books for a while were at my parents' house as my wife and our family. We were moving around a little bit. All the CGC books were there. They were displayed nicely in my dad's office and an adjoining room next to his office where he did some of his work for his business. And my dad has quite the gun collection. And one day he was cleaning a gun, doing something with a gun, and this is why it's really important to execute gun safety. So he's doing something, and then a gun goes off. It's just him in there. Nobody else is in there. The gun goes off, and the bullet hits the case and cracks it. Now, it did not damage the book, so I just have to get this re-slabbed, but check that out. That is the damage from a bullet. Don't try that at home, everybody. There you go. And then, of course, the amazing back cover there. There's X-Men 25. Magneto rips the adamantium out of Wolverine's body. There's the cool hologram. And the wraparound cover there on the back. Here's just a cover that my dad liked, so I picked it up for him years ago. X-Men number 41 from 2013. I believe this was the last issue in this particular volume, but just had a lot of characters on it. He liked it. I think it cost $40, so I picked it up on eBay. This was a cheap Daredevil book I bought. The only CGC Daredevil book that I have. Issue 194. Just kind of a fun action-packed cover. I bought this book raw in Manhattan at Midtown Comics in, I want to say, 2013. And this issue came out in 2013. I went through a huge stack of Guardians of the Galaxy 1s from Midtown Comics, their own variant. Went through a huge stack, probably 30 copies. Found the best copy I could. Came back a 9.8. Just a fun memento from when I was in New York those several years ago. Here, Masters of the Universe number 1 from 1986. Love me some He-Man, and this is a great book to have. This book cost $69 when I got it, and now it's worth way more than that. So glad to get it when I did. And again, I'm a big Masters of the Universe fan. Now there's a lot of controversy surrounding the new Masters of the Universe Revelation series, but I watched it. Enjoyed it for the most part. Had some complaints, but still enjoyed watching it with my two sons that you saw at the start of this video. And here's the last stack of books. We have Hulk number 1 from 2008. What's credited as the first appearance of Red Hulk, though it really is just an appearance on the last page. But the whole cover is full of Red Hulk, so this gets the bill of first appearance of Red Hulk, though his first big in most of the book appearance is issue number 2, but this is the one that the comic community deems issue number 1, as well as CGC, first appearance of the Red Hulk. And if you have one, why not have 2? And if you have 2, why not have 3? The first video on my channel features when I picked up all 3 of these books. The idea was to get 3, sell 2, and have 2 of those books pay for the one that I'm going to keep in the collection. But for now, these books are just in the collection, waiting for the right time to sell, but here's 3 of them. Here's Winter Soldier, Winter Kills number 1 from 2007. Bought this book on the cheap several years ago, and as a big Winter Soldier fan, I thought it'd be great to get that. Here is a Kubert variant cover from 2012. A lot of these books, not all of them of course, but a lot of them I did buy raw and then send in to get graded. This one was a raw book that I sent in that came back in a 9.8. Here is one of my favorite Captain America covers with Wolverine on it. Captain America Annual number 8 in a 9.8, not a cheap book anymore to get. Here is Captain America number 25 from 2007. The issue where Captain America gets killed on the courthouse steps immediately following the first Civil War story in 2006. Here's Captain America 34 when Bucky becomes Captain America. Here is Captain America number 1 from 2011. This is the John Romita cover. This would be really great to actually get signed by John Romita, his variant cover here. Here is Captain America #1 from 2013. And both of these covers, and this is the Phantom variant cover here, both of these covers go with my Captain America 108 signed by Stan Lee, with Captain America jumping through the newspaper. So glad to have all three of those. And the final book in part 2 of my CGC 9.8 collection is Captain America #6 from 2004, the first appearance of Winter Soldier. And what makes this book especially special is the signature by Chris Evans right there. It's a darker pen. It's a blue pen, but you can see it right there. Try to get out of the glare. But yep, signed by Chris Evans on September 25th, 2015. Really glad to have this in the collection as a big Winter Soldier fan and as a big Chris Evans fan, as with his portrayal of Captain America. I've always wanted the Winter Soldier variant signed by a signature series book signed by Sebastian Stan. I had an opportunity several years ago to pick one up off of eBay for a pretty decent price. Didn't do it, and now I just kick myself for that missed opportunity. So true believers, thank you so much for tuning in to part 2 of my CGC 9.8 collection. If you haven't had a chance to watch part 1, go ahead and do that. I'll have a link there at the end of this video for that. And as always, remember, comics for life.